6 years ago, a group of enthusiasts finished building a steam engine from scratch, resurrecting a classic Doncaster design. Their story made headlines around the world, but now they're about to do it all over again. But this time, it'll be much bigger.
Six years ago, an extraordinary thing happened. People across the world sat up and watched. A group of enthusiasts built a brand new steam engine to run on Britain's main line. At times it was tricky.
I just think the danger of burning one's pinkies here.
It took 18 years and cost £3 million.
Oh, here goes nothing anyway.
When it worked though, no one was more delighted than them.
Yes!
This engine is named Tornado, and may God bless all who are lucky enough to locomote behind her.
Today I've come to Barrow Hill Roundhouse near Chesterfield to find out what happened next in the Tornado story and to hear about plans to do the impossible once again. Barrow Hill is a fascinating place if you're mechanically minded. There's every type of locomotive here. Some are being repaired, some are being restored, but all are the objects of someone's affections. And this is where we find Tornado, but to be honest, in a few more pieces than last time I saw it.
Okay, well, we've had some damage to this oil pipe in the past.
John Wilkinson used to be a banker. He swapped spreadsheets for steam and has now gone loco full-time. Hi John, nice to meet you. So what's the story here? I was expecting to see Tornado, ready to go, but there's people hammering, there's sparks flying, and it's not going anywhere. What's the story?
We just sometimes come in the shed and have a bit of fun like this. In actual fact, the way we like to present the engine to the public is in steam, all clean, and as you would expect. But in actual fact, to deliver that, then we have to come and do some of this. All the jobs are heavy, and lifting parts off, stripping things down to get to where you actually want to work can be a matter of weeks rather than days.
You're out of sight, out of mind here. It's not earning any money, it's not hauling any passengers.
No, and obviously we like it to be in the public eye and earning, but we do need it to be reliable. We don't want it to go out on trains and not pull the train all the way back to where we started from.
There is a lot at stake. Tornado has pulled the Royal Train 3 times, starred in an episode of Top Gear and delighted thousands of passengers. Its reputation as a steam star has gone global. These hands now, I feel embarrassed, they're far too clean, so have you got a job to dirty them up?
We've got a superb job lined up for you.
Should I be worried?
Always.
So one quick change and an induction to spanners later.
And then we lift the whole front
The
off.
whole thing's going to come off?
The whole thing's going to come off.
Is it going to be heavy?
It's always heavy.
I think this is today's 20 minutes of exercise sorted out. One of the interesting things about working at the front of the engine here is you're reminded just how long it took to build, because these cylinders were cast not far away from here, actually, just down the road at Renishaw Foundry. And of course that's long closed, it's now a housing estate. So chaps, how are we going to get this off then? Not a word of a lie, it took 3 of us 20 minutes using a selection of tools and words not necessarily in the dictionary to wrestle this off. No wonder it's called the piano front. That was a really big job, and just one component too, which makes me wonder, the people who look after Tornado, surely they've got enough on. Why on earth do they want to build another steam engine? 80 years ago, a prototype locomotive rolled out of the famous Doncaster plant works.
This is the most powerful steam locomotive ever built in Britain. If you go back to the origins of the design of the P2s, they were designed for a specific role, and that role was to haul heavy trains, mainly sleeping trains, from Edinburgh to Aberdeen when the trains were getting more luxurious and heavier during the early 1930s.
Why build another one?
In terms of charter trains, this locomotive can haul more coaches than other locomotives. It will be able to haul those coaches up steeper hills than other locomotives can. Hills equals beautiful scenery equals more passengers, more coaches equals more passengers, equals more profit.
The official works portrait of the first of the new P2 locomotives reveals their size. This is number 2001, with another famous steam name, Cock of the North. However, a lot of the engineering and even some of the parts are the same as on Tornado. So what do you need to build a steam engine? Let's start with the wheels. On the P2 you've got 2 at the front to lead the locomotive into tight curves, 8 large driving wheels, and then another 2 wheels at the back to support the weight. Next come the frames. Now think of them as a big metal rectangle that hold everything in just the right place. It's normally the part you build first. The P2 has 3 cylinders, 2 outside and 1 inside the frame, and they convert the steam into raw power, which is transmitted to the wheels via coupling and connecting rods. To make the steam you need a boiler. Think of that as just like a big kettle. You put heat and water in at one end and you get steam out of the other at 250 pounds per square inch, so a lot of pressure. At this end of the boiler, the front, you've got the smoke box. That collects all the waste gases from the fire and sends them up the chimney. You've also got 2 distinctive deflectors to make sure the smoke is lifted well clear of the cab at the other end of the boiler, which is of course where the driver and the fireman sit. Stick a tender on the back with all the coal and water you need for your journey, and you've just created a living, breathing monster capable of hauling hundreds of tons. Six P2s were built, but they were all ultimately scrapped, which means the closest you'll get to seeing one is as a model, like here at the National Railway Museum in York. Terrific stuff. You may know the name of the man who designed the machine. It's the same name behind Flying Scotsman and Mallard, Nigel Gresley.
He's a big man. Look
Yeah,
at
so
how high he's laughing and joking. But it's very unusual to see footage of him himself.
Anthony Coulis is the senior curator here.
He created something that, would pull the side off a house. Gresley's not averse to being influenced by people, and the very fact that the first one, Cock of the North, was tested at Vitry as well. Gresley's working on an international level. He's not just saying, oh, well, this is the UK and this is what we're going to do.
Are you excited about potentially seeing one for, well, what would be the first time?
I think so, yes, because it's such a different way. The engines have been described as Gresley's Enigma variations. There's 6 and they're all slightly different. This engine is just all grunt, you know that it's going to do the job. But Gresley had the eye towards the aesthetic.
Dates 29/10/34. Steam pipe casting.
The maestro signed off his symphony 8 decades ago. He could never have guessed that one day the plans would be taken from a museum, dusted down, scanned into a computer and catalogued, ready to build another one. And already, one big decision has been taken. How did that royal connection come around?
Prince Charles was kind enough to name Tornado. I think he rather enjoyed himself on the day. You were there, Tom, so you saw that. And he's been kind enough to ask us to pull the Royal Train on 2 occasions since then. And when we were thinking about what we should name the locomotive, there was only one name that came to mind, and that was Prince of Wales.
This is the Darlington workshop where Tornado was built. Right now it's starting to fill with people and activity all over again. These wooden patterns are being cleaned off, ready to be sent to the foundry, which will cast the very first parts for the brand new steam engine. The Trust have already raised £300,000 towards the cost. They reckon they'll need about £5 million. But buoyed by their success with Tornado, they claim they can do the job by 2021.